Scale drawings. This is a digital lesson, and this one is the basketball version. So it starts with explaining to the students what a scale drawing is, and then it gives them some vocabulary. So they're going to need this vocabulary on the final slide. They can refer back to slide 3 if they need to. Now they start on slide 4, so they're going to create their own scale drawing. This one, they're going to scale up by a factor of 2. And that means the number of units on each side is going to be multiplied by 2. So to color this in, they're just going to click on one of the squares they want to color in, click and hold, and then they can scroll across till they've covered what they want to color in. So now a 6 by 4. Once they have it shaded in, then they can come up here to the fill color feature and they can choose any color they like. Next thing we want them to see is what happens to the perimeter when they scale up or scale down. So the perimeter on the smaller figure, if they count around the outside, is 10 units. On the larger figure is 20 units. So you can see that the perimeter is being increased by a scale factor of 2. That means they multiply the smaller perimeter by 2 to get the larger perimeter. The next figure is a little bit more difficult. Here we're going to scale up by a scale factor of 3. So again, they're going to click in the square that they want to color in. Scroll across. They can only do a rectangle at a time. Come up here again. They can choose any color they like. And now they have a scaled up figure, scaled up by a scale factor of 3. So all of the sides are multiplied by 3. Again, the perimeter is going to be 10 units. But now because the scale factor is 3, the perimeter of the larger figure will be 30 units. So you just multiply the smaller perimeter by the scale factor. The next one's a little bit more difficult. You might want to do this one with the students. So this one, we're scaling up by a scale factor of 3. And again, they can only do a rectangle at a time. So you might do part of this with the students and then let them finish on their own. And the perimeter of the smaller figure is 12 units. The larger figure is going to be 12 times 3 or 36 units. So a little review on the next slide. When the scale factor is 2, the perimeter of the new figure is 2 times, and they're going to type in 2 times the perimeter of the smaller figure. When the scale factor is 3, the new figure is 3 times the perimeter of the smaller figure. So they're just going to type in 2 and 3. Now the next one shows what happens when your scale factor is a fraction less than 1. So here the scale factor is 1/2. That means we're going to multiply all of the units by 1/2 or divide by 2. So here we have a 6 by 6. It's now going to be divided by 2, which will be 3 by 3. And we're going to leave that middle square blank. And so they'll have a smaller figure scaled down by a scale factor of 1/2. The next slide is a little bit tricky too. You might want to do this one with the students. So this one we have an arrow shape. We're going to use these movable bars to create a smaller figure scaled down by a scale factor of 1/2. I would start at the bottom because this top part is a little bit tricky. So the bottom has 4 units. If we divide by 2, it will now be 2 units. So they just click and hold on these bars. The little blue circles on the ends, they can click and hold and then just move them into place. These sides are also 4, so we're going to divide by 2. This little section here is 2 units. So if we divide by 2, it's now going to be 1 unit. Let's Students may need a little bit of practice moving these. And then once they've got this done, sometimes you've got to play around a little bit to get it just right. So if we count here, we can see that the tip of the arrow is 8 units from the bottom. So if we divide by 2, it will now be 4 units from the bottom. So here we're just going to connect those two. So here, 4 units from the bottom, and then connect it. Same thing here. And we have our smaller figure, scaled down by a scale factor of 1/2. The next thing we want to show the students is what happens to the area when we scale up or scale down. So here we have a 3 by 3. We're going to create a figure that's scaled up by a scale factor of 2, so it's now going to be 6 by 6. And let's try a different color just for contrast. All right, so if we look at the area of the smaller figure, 3 by 3, length times width, is going to be 9 square units. And they type that in. The larger figure is now going to be 6 by 6, or 36 square units. So you might want to ask the students what the relationship is. So if they can't figure it out, then just explain to them that the area changes by the scale factor squared. So 2 squared would be 4, 2 to the second power. So you're going to multiply your smaller area by 4. And they've got one more to do like that. Then a little review when the scale factor is, and again, they're going to type in 2. The area of the new figure is 2 to the second power, or 4 times the area of the smaller figure. When the scale factor is 3, the area of the new figure is 3 to the second power, or 9 times the area of the smaller figure. And the final slide, they're going to use their vocabulary, so they can refer back to slide 3 if they need to. And they're going to just click and hold on the edge of these terms and move them into the correct place in the sentence frames. So a scale drawing is a drawing which is increased or decreased in size by a fixed ratio, and so on. So that is a digital lesson, scale drawings, the basketball version.